Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Now we got our match here that's going to be happening. Mineski versus Geek Fam. Kind of the middle of the pack, you could say. So looking forward to seeing how these two teams do. And the draft, in fact, has gotten started. So going to be hopping into that one here. But Mineski, of course, have Mag and Arc, these non-Southeast Asian players as far as nationality goes, but they've been entertaining to watch, to say the least. Again, Mineski just coming off that victory over Clutch Gamers, as I was talking about there, casting that match, and they had Mag playing the Faceless Void. Actually landed a couple of clutch Chronospheres to lead them to victory in what was a very back-and-forth game.
Man, thank God that Mineski have Mag, because the rest of the team is not doing it.
Yeah.
And this is
Let me with the real talk.
Lightly. Like Mag last game played Faceless Void, he was the control, he was the damage, he was the initiation, he was the fallback, like he is everything.
He was a support, he was placing wards everywhere.
He was doing everything.
I don't think he was doing that, actually.
And you had, well, I'm a big fan of Mushi.
Yep.
But you just believe it.
There was an audible but in that silence.
There were instances where he ran up the hill to hit buildings like he had an Aegis.
Yes.
But he didn't have an Aegis.
We did not know what to think about that, yeah.
His puck yesterday left something to be desired as well.
Yeah.
I think his team were a bit let down by that.
That's the thing with Mushi, though, isn't it? Like, it's always that his play isn't always as good, but partially because he's a shot caller as well, and he's, like, providing other things to the team. He has to think about it in the more macro sense. I don't know if that's the case in this team, because it is Mag drafting, and sometimes that means that he's leading to more shot calling as well, but something else that could be there. It's never been like that's in recent history, his strong point.
He's definitely a streaky player. I feel like he's gone through eras of Dota where he's been like on the top of his game, one of the best, scariest mids to verse. Like you go back to like TI2, TI3 era with Orange, and he kind of dipped off a bit. Then he came back with DK and was like one of the top players. Then he kind of slipped off in like the TI5 era, and it doesn't really feel like he's like fully come back since then.
Batrider Sand King to start things off for Geek Fam. I was wondering if we're going to see that silencer or not, but I think on the Sand King route, which has definitely been another very successful hero. I feel like I know other analysts out there, in between the games that were just watching other games happening. Strong opinions about Sand King being one of the strongest heroes right now in the current meta.
Yeah. Did you guys' phones just buzz as well?
Yes, there's some fire warning.
Oh, really?
It's Riverside, which is not our area. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I shouldn't be getting a phone call.
Evacuate now.
And
yeah,
I saw Lyrical like looking down, like his phone was buzzing. I was like, why is your phone buzzing and mine?
Do we run? I mean,
get us out of here.
There's a fire warning.
Yeah, let's just
nearby,
cast some Dota. Whatever.
Not too nearby. We're good.
Okay. Anyways, Clockwork, that first pick again for Mineski now.
Yeah.
All right.
Do they clock Shadow Fiend is probably one of the big questions.
Is that true?
That's kind of like the SCA thing. We've seen a lot of this, just pick up clock SF first two.
No, so I actually think this is like a inbuilt meta that's currently going on, right? So you open up the Batrider because Batrider plus Silencer is OP. Mm-hmm. And then in order to counter that, you pick up Clockwork because Silencer does not verse well against Clockwork. Clockwork just goes in, isolate the Silencer, make him force out either a back global or just isolate and prevent the global altogether. Mm-hmm. So instead of grabbing the Silencer, you grab a support that isn't as vulnerable to the Clockwork initiation, in this case, Sand King, or you've seen Rubik in the past. So it will surprise me greatly if Geek Fam does go back to the Silencer. And we've seen Silencer Batrider combination actually lose to Clockwork. So at least in the C region, it's this whole like phase 1 drafting has been really like back and forth.
Can't get hooked if you're in Fountain though, Lumi.
There you go.
Is that the play? Just stay in the Fountain, press global.
So I also like the idea of what you said there, the Rubik going back for in position 5. I think that they can still do that, and maybe banning out the Brood here too. It's another one of those heroes that doesn't deal well with it. Although there is already Sand King and Batrider. I guess the Mineski have just been continuing to take that Brood in the second phase when they get a chance at it.
Obviously, yeah, they lost that one that they played with it earlier on, and that was that opening match right there. But I definitely see the potential still for it, even despite that loss. He showed that there's a reason why he's known for playing it in the past, and I kind of look back at that idea of that comfort as well. Now that he's a drafter for this team, and I kind of brought that up when we were talking about that match there. That you kind of wonder if that's part of it, but yeah, banning out the Brood, so not going to be happening with the Quap. We got the final ban before the next set of picks from Mineski here. The Razor already taken away. The Puck and the Bristle, and there's the Lifestealer now coming out. So what stands out for Geek Fam here? You got your 4, you got your 3.
Lena's still one of the big heroes in the pool. Maybe not necessarily the best matchup versus Clock, but hey, they're still going to get it. I've seen so many third-pick Lenas the last 2 days. It's just it's going to keep happening.
Wow, Nick's very quick reaction.
This is great against the Batrider. It also sets up well to kill off the Lena.
Yeah, pick bad and don't ban Nyx. That's crazy.
Yeah. They're afraid of the Brood. That's the thing. I don't know. I guess that, like, I was saying that it's because maybe they want to take, like, a Rubik or something, but it feels like with Sand King and Batrider, those are 2 heroes that could deal well with the Brood on their own or as part of a lane or something. I feel like banning the Brood at this stage is giving too much to Mineski.
Shadow Fiend is still there for Mineski as well, as you're mentioning, so...
Hero that with the souls from Clock, I think will work okay versus Lena. Without the Clock, you probably don't want to pick SF into Lena all too often, but definitely can work here. Quap's banned out is one of the maybe better matchups. TA still there.
It's kind of rough against Batrider and Sand King, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I think TA is one of those heroes that we used to see quite a bit picked up, like as a counter pick for like Lenas or Invokers, but even as a mid lane counter pick, it would not match up well against the other heroes, the off laners, the supports, and it just didn't really feel like the hero was winning as many games as it should be.
Something like a Crystal Maiden support is still there if they want to go that route for Geek Fam.
Yeah, they haven't got their 5, and then they can save their last pick.
But
hey,
that's a fun one. I like
it's
this
your
hero.
guy.
Yeah, this is a. I think it's a very good 5 position hero. Also good mid, but no one's brave enough to run a mid except QO. Medusa, that's a Mushi hero. He loves this hero. He's that's kind of like going. Mineski's record hasn't been so great, and that's kind of where you just want to go back for comfort picks. Medusa versus Lena.
I feel like mids need to get so much done nowadays, though, and like Medusa's not a hero that really does that around the map so much.
I mean, but you look at your supporting cast. You got Clockwork and Nyx Assassin.
Yeah.
They are going to be the one that's going around to do things. I mean, she's also one of the better heroes that wouldn't mind too much getting lassoed. Like, depending if your team could, let's say, walk in and spike the fire, then you just stand there with the lasso. You can tank quite a bit.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because it could almost help in some ways. You could argue the fact that putting her in a better position to activate her ultimate and be worse even for Geek Fam. So, yeah, pretty good against that idea as you're getting at. Drow Ranger ban from Geek Fam, and there's the Anti-Mage takeaway from Mineski. So now they would need to what? They need their 1 position still, you figure. Or they're 1.
So what they want to get with this. Drow was kind of like the obvious, Drow Medusa, great synergy, great combo. But once you pick that Medusa, the odds of getting it obviously very slim.
10 seconds remaining.
So Visage Gods.
Yeah.
So deal with Visage here as a support option. Why would they go Visage?
He's good like mid-late game. Like he's kind of like a better scaling 5 position support. Can farm jungle very well, very strong with level 6. He's actually quite weak at level 1. He has 0 armor, he doesn't fight very well. But pair him with like a good partner like a Sand King and maybe a strong fighting carry, you actually have good kill potential. But I don't think he matches up well against Nyx or Clock. I think this is probably just a hero that, I don't know, I guess it's a Bambo hero, so we'll see how Bambo does on it. But something that he feels he can be more of a playmaker on is my understanding there.
Always the safe option, Juggernaut. Coming out from Mineski here for their 1, so smooth finish.
I feel like you maybe like invest in split push at this point. They're not very mobile, the heroes on Mineski, with the exception of like Clockwork, and
yeah,
I mean push out waves really well, like a Morph Lane or something. Is that too weird?
Got some split push from Visage Birds, but Morphling seems, I don't know, with a Visage it seems like a very weak lane.
Okay.
I think you always want to pick like a strong carry like the Ursa Jug. I think they may have actually wanted Jug here, there's a good chance. I think Jug is probably one of the best carries to run with the 5 position Visage from my experience. Otherwise...
What about like a natural diffusal carry?
against Medusa. I think to burn her mana down quickly. What are the options?
Oh,
Slot. Not Diffusal, but it's the same idea against Medusa. She's tanky. She's going to take a long time to kill. You want to right-click her a bunch. You get stats rather than burn her mana. It's like a
there you go.
Same kind of concept to what you're suggesting.
Also, this team is extremely mobile for Geek Fam, which is very important against Dusa. You want to walk in, bait out the Stone Gaze, retreat very quickly, and still retain the ability to go in and fight again after the Stone Gaze is over. So, really like Geek Fam's draft here.
All right, so as we're getting ready to go into the game here, we'll go over the predictions here. So, Lumi, it sounded like Geek Fam, are you leaning towards them?
Yeah, I think they have a ton of burst damage, which could punish like some of these squishier heroes, especially before Dusa gets a lot of items. Like Visage, Lina, you just blow kids up, man. I like what they got.
Lyrical?
I think I'm going to go with Geek Fam too. I think that they want to try and like ball up together Mineski, and I don't think that Geek Fam are going to let them get to that point.
5 seconds.
Gods, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm going to believe in Visage. It's a very underrated hero. No, I think Visage, I think they've definitely got the stronger draft. I don't think 5 positions really determine draft outcomes too often, but I like their cores a lot better. I think Veiler's bat's been very good throughout what we've seen yesterday, and this like is a good kind of counter pick for the Medusa in some ways.
Visage mid, Lina support?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm on board. Sexy Bambo, call him out, take the mid lane. Bambo is actually tagged up as Veiler fan, so he's a fan of his teammate. But I don't think we'll be seeing that, unfortunately. If they do that, they're definitely going to win, though.
Oh, I don't think that's going to be happening, unfortunately. No. Yeah, discipline indeed. So, yeah, lots on the line right here for these two teams. Unless you wanted to advance on again, making it really in that middle of the pack, 2nd through 5th place spot, what really matters. Going to be good to go, though. We're zooming out of this and continuing on. So, I didn't actually have the records of these two teams off the top of my head, so but I want to say again, they're both in the middle there.
Yeah, there was. I'm not sure if it's been updated, but Mineski were 2-2 and Geek Fam were 2-3, I believe, at the start of the day. Mineski got a win, so I think they're actually now 3-2, maybe. So
yeah, Mineski should be 3-2 then.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, in the middle there.
Middle of the pack is correct.
I'm too lazy.
Yeah, Lyrical, Lumi, if you guys want to hang, I mean, it's up to you.
Lumi just said to me, I'm too lazy to move, but I'm going to get out of here, so catch you guys later.
Feel free.
I'm going to sit here and watch a bit.
All right, well, Lumi's going to join us, get some tri-casting going on as well. All right, actually, we have a possible first blood coming out here, Ryer. He'll fall back in time, though, and now it's actually Nixo Assassin, the one in some trouble. The cask bounce around over to the Bat Rod, and that's a first blood in favor of Mineski. Start things off, so Geek Fam was the one looking to be aggressive, and they run into a trap, essentially.
Yeah, they were prepared for that. Definitely one of those things where you can see they've kind of like looked at the tape a bit on Geek Fam, know that they like to make those early aggressive moves. We saw it a bit yesterday where they get up in their face with Rogi's early rotations, and they're ready for him.
Visage already setting up at the bottom lane down there, of course, to support the likes of the Slark.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do much, but hey, he'll just do what he can to get levels. Definitely a hero that just wants to sit there getting levels. Kind of similar to like a Silencer. Like you kind of zone not all that well. It's even worse than a Silencer in terms of zoning, and then you come online with your levels.
Oh, they're going to find Mag. Actually, he's trying to steal the rune. He'll get the rune, but is it going to come at a cost is the next question. Grave Chill activated. Slowing down Clockwork pretty well, but it just doesn't seem like they're going to have enough pursuit here. And Sexy Bambo is like, all right, I'll take some bounty here.
Yep.
A nice little heads up, but, I mean, that's a bounty rune stolen by Mag, so they essentially get 3 bounty runes.
Well, he's going to go for a Courier Snipe, but he's already being pinged out by the Clockwork, so very unlikely to succeed in his endeavors around this mid lane. And Medusa hasn't even got to south on the way for the time being.
So speaking of that, you mentioned Visage here as far as what he's going to be wanting to do early on is, so sitting in the middle lane, but yeah, so really is he just about doing some pulls here, getting those own levels? I mean, is there a key level? Of course, getting those familiars at level 6 is pretty key, but is there a level where he's at maybe level 3 with the Soul Assumption that he's kill potential?
With a Slark, it's not the best. With the Sanking, yes, so he can smoke it with Sanking. 2-man, like he needs a partner to use that Soul Assumption, I'd say, unless Clockwork misplays at bottom. So other than that, pulls, he's already starting at bottom lane with those.
Well, Teehee feeling a lot of pressure right there between the Mystic Snake and the Impale, but will survive. Still some good damage put out. Sanking now Burrow strikes in himself. LSA connects on Nyx Assassin, and Ninja Boogie has to limp away with not much life. But we have a good old-fashioned 2 versus 2 middle lane matchup here. as a result of what's going on. Is there either side that you would lean towards in terms of Medusa versus Lina, with these supports especially being nearby?
It's probably pretty even. Sanking has perhaps the slight edge against the Nyx just with the more reliable stun. And I'd say just pretty decent base stats, but we're already seeing Nyx pushed out of the lane. He's back to base. Sanking still lingering around, had a bit more HP regen, so it seems like this mid lane is going a little bit better for Radiant. Not really much separating them though.
Clockwork doesn't have battery assault just yet, Mag. Gonna be pressure right here as the bounce leash connects, but again, feeling comfortable, but yet no battery assault at level 2.
Interesting. Probably just going for some last hits with the rocket flare. I'd like to see the battery, so I think you can really bully this Visage. If you ever get on top of him, 0 armor, he may just die here.
He's going to be collapsed on from either side. You mentioned 0 armor, but no battery assault, so going to kind of force him to try to run into the Nyx assassin, but that's not going to work. It's Sexy Bamboo. If he lives, you know Mag's going to immediately regret not getting that battery assault, but he does have the rocket flare for the finish, and will indeed get the kill in the end. So that's what matters. Middle lane, meanwhile, Medusa is going to be heavily pressured, but with that mana shield up, I think he's going to live. Just a matter of burning as much regen as possible.
They're diving it.
They are going to dive this. Rod, she's going to take a lot of damage. As a result, the Burrow Strike, that's not going to work.
He tried to toggle the aggro mid-gank. Like, you could see him like turn his head to like attack his teammate, but he just didn't, I guess, get the full attack animation off, so. Not the end of the world. It's definitely worth getting that kill, even with the death on Raji.
We had the lack of battery assault. Ends up being just fine for Clockwork in the sense he got the kill at least, but now he does have the 1-1-1 build. And so could run down Visage.
Yeah, much as I'm a Visage fan, this is a pretty rough lane to be playing when you haven't got a strong fighting carry to be paired with, and you haven't got your other support. Your other support's mid, so you can't. You have to really hug the lane, hug your Slack, because the second you venture up by yourself, this Slack will, the Clockwork will kind of bully you.
Bellow, meanwhile, doing a great job on the Bat Rider, doing some jungle stack up here with that Firefly. But by great job, I mean he's dead. Because that Nyx assassin, you guys were talking about that in the draft. They didn't ban the Nyx. That's exactly why right there. Spiked Carapace OP.
Yep.
Easy kill.
Done well up into then to get CS and farm. And that's one of those deaths which looks like he spent most of his money, has his bracer, probably didn't lose all too much gold. So
true.
Ultimately, he's getting some levels, some CS. It's kind of one of those like quote-unquote acceptable deaths as an offlaner.
Yeah, and you mentioned he picks up the bracer. Another case of it looks like we are going to be seeing the going for the drums instead of prioritizing the Blink Dagger here on said hero.
They kind of got a lineup that's just going to want to run at Mineski and fight them early on. Don't let the Medusa get too much farm, and that's what the drums gives you. It's just this aggressive run at you kind of build.
Haste Rune going to be left for Medusa to bottle on up, head back towards the middle lane. So Medusa, not one we're going to see often. Let's talk about her possible item choices. I know Lincoln's is potentially a great item on her, but is there anything that you'd like to see from the beginning?
Oh man, Mushi Medusa builds is one of those infamous things that trigger a lot of people. He's known for going the Lincoln's Manta style like every single game, and people hate to see it. It gets flamed a lot by casters, players, I don't know, like a lot of people like always like, why is he going this build? It doesn't do any damage, and the Manta, I think, is the really kind of slightly dubious part about the build, but ultimately he wins a lot with the hero. He's very comfortable, he plays it very well, even if maybe he doesn't go the most optimal item builds. And that was kind of a while ago, so I want to say he may have swapped it up a bit. Definitely Lincoln's is good against Sanking Bat Rider. This is like a Lincoln's game for sure.
Yeah, so maybe the obvious route right there, but for now, level 3 Mystic Snake, using that to harass and also assist with some last hits. Nyx Assassin level 2 only, but is roaming pretty aggressively, trying to find that Bat Rider, and oh, he's going to find him here. And he has that spiked Carapace if wants to make a play, but he's by himself, so there's no way he's doing anything. Really just getting information.
Needs to be careful without a TP scroll. He could get probably just dead here.
He is in a very dangerous spot. I mean, again, spiked Carapace could come into play, but Velo.
Yep. There's a Witch Doctor nearby with a cask.
The lucky bounce, back and forth, yes. And Ninja Boogie walking off for now. God, the bounce just keeps on going.
They still be able to get him. That's a lot of napalms.
Burrow Strike hits, sticky napalm still applied, and yes, they will indeed secure the kill. So good attempt by Witch Doctor to save his friend right there, but not enough. So the pursuit is real, and 6-minute bounty rune is also going to be coming up to pick up right here. So Nyx, I mean, what was the plan by Nyx there? Just simply to maybe make a play eventually on Bat Rider?
Yeah, I think he felt the Bat was jungling, farming some stacks so he could come in and leech experience. Was probably his main priority. Perhaps even find Bat Rider low in HP and get a kill. But the Sanking was also there, which is what caught him by surprise.
Speaking of finding somebody and getting a kill, the Bounty Rune battle right there. And Sexy Bamboo not only picks up the boundary room, but gets credit for the kill on top of that.
It was one of those, like, I was saying how he shouldn't leave the lane. He really shouldn't, and Clock finds him and thinks he has a kill, but Lena's rotation in catches a nice one on the Clockwork. Bambo's done a good job of kind of just playing around his teammates as much as he needs to, and we're seeing a decent start or turnaround for Geek Fam in this laning stage.
Batrider probably dead right here. Maledict, oh, the Shrine to the last second. It avoids the death initially, but he still will be killed. Now, there was an Omni Slash used, so him living that much longer got the Omni Slash, but at the same time, the Shrine is now on cooldown as well.
The Shrine being down and still dying, not really the outcome you're hoping for. And for Jug using the Omni Slash, he's kind of at that stage where he's happy to keep on farming, so he's not going to be rotating off this lane all too much. He wants to pressure the tower. It's down to half HP. He's got the Aquila. You don't really need the Omni Slash to do that. You just need to be able to Blade Fury down creep waves and get away from any ganks and rotations using it.
Aquila being worked on by Slark at the bottom lane, top lane. Okay. Spinning on to the Visage, but he'll be fine. Just farming up as well a little bit with it before falling back. Lena, by the way, she actually has a Force Staff queued up. Is that really just because of the Clockwork, you think?
Yep. No, that's pretty much it. There's no other real big reason. Only it's often you'll see heroes, carries and mids get these first item Force Staffs against a Clock. A core Clockwork is going to get a much faster level 6 as well and get a lot more farm and be a bigger problem than the full position Clock. So just wanting to have a way out of that, since Lena will be the main target of the Clockwork's ganks, since both Slark and Batrider have escapes. It's going to be the support Visage and bigger priority for Lena being ganked by this Clock.
So getting that in a preemptive response here. Batrider applying those sticky napalms, trying to make a play, try to steal the jungle stack perhaps, but not the case. Juggernaut really gets most, if not all, of that farm instead. I'm looking around at some stacks actually. You see the dire side stacks over here. On the right side, that's a triple stack they got to work with, so there's much more across the mat, and in fact, the left side as well, same thing going on for them. So who's ideally going to take those stacks for this dire side?
Eventually, Medusa can farm them. It will probably take some time. I don't think we'll see any kind of like Jug Battle Fury. Doesn't seem like the right build. Smoke gank bottom lane. We'll find Mag, though.
Yeah, just caught him, so it sounds like they smoked on in and clearly get in position to do him in, and you got the Tranquil Boots finish on Sand King. Of course, Blink Dagger now queued up, looking to be picked up. Visage is almost level 5, and he's also one of these supports too. Get level 10. I assume you get the experience talent, right?
As a support, the gold is probably a little bit better. There's very few heroes who have 90 gold per minute at level 10.
Okay.
So it's a lot for a support. You're not getting as much XP, which is where the XP talent doesn't give you as much value.
Yeah.
Oh, Jug on there.
That's
TP out.
Unfortunate.
Someone needs to pull him a TP. There we go. He gets it now.
That's because of the Omni Slash. What? Okay, I thought he was TPing right there that whole time. That got canceled. That really caught me off guard.
Cancel it.
All right.
But yeah, the Visage, the XP talent's really only good maybe as a core Visage, I think.
Okay.
You're just not getting enough XP to justify it. Whereas as a 5 position, you need all the money you can get for your Solar Crest, your wards, all those small items.
Well, Juggernaut here, 4,700 net worth. He is leading the way, doing a very good job of that. Yasha is almost finished even for him. Visage actually finding himself pushing out the top lane, trying to get that level 6, of course, for the familiars. And that's where the hero really kind of gets another level to it. And once it gets those familiars, is it just the case of use them to just continue farming, or does he actually try to look for ganks right away, you think?
Bit of both. You can send them around with ganking heroes. You don't even have to be there for it, but you can farm the jungle. They just add like a lot of extra damage output and a really safe way to farm efficiently as a support. So we'll see exactly where he looks at them. He's hit level 6 now in this top lane, and it looks like he may want to pair up with the Batrider for a kill.
Well, familiars are out, and indeed has that Batrider nearby, so see if that comes into play. Juggernaut, of course, has a spin. We'll probably want to find the Witch Doctor instead, and they do spot him out here, but matter of catching up to him. That's what's going to count here. Bottom lane, Sionix is having to live. Pops the Shadow Dance. Going back as Visage ports in, and the ultimate activated by Medusa as well at the Stone Gaze. Really trying to catch up, but wasn't to be, especially with the TP coming in.
There's a ambitious haste run gank from Mushi. Doesn't get the kill he was hoping for, but this is while the Nyx is taking over the mid lane for a little bit, trying to get some levels. Still only just hitting level 5 now, 11 minutes in. Not sure if he had the luxury of getting that Tome of Knowledge. It's on the courier, so it looks like the Nyx is going to get that sent to him, and that will get him up to level 6.
Okay, you know, I mentioned this last game with the mid player. In the case of it was Cuckoo, actually, for TNC. And I know I mentioned it yesterday in another game with a different Lina player even. Maybe this is just Southeast Asian. Maybe this is just me not knowing the recent meta with Linas. But another case of going the Light Strike Array damage at that level 10 talent.
I mean, both are good. There's definitely more of a tendency to get the cast range, and it seems to be more of an SEA thing, getting the LSA. I know Sumail's done it from time to time as well. It's nice just being able to instantly blow up and clear creep waves with the extra damage as well. So we'll see what he makes of this build. Also, he's not going the Yules. If you're getting the Yules, I think you definitely get cast range. Getting a Yule Scepter and not going cast range is not the way to go.
Top lane, Juggernaut pushing it in comfortably, but maybe it needs to be a little uncomfortable here. He's going to start spinning away. The lasso, though, pulls him right back in. The Death Ward is down, doing some damage to Lina, but it's only going to last so long, and now Juggernaut in a horrible spot. That's, what is that, 4 heroes of the 5 ult here to make that kill happen, but that's a core Juggernaut top farm of the game. Going to slow him down a little bit.
Instantly, though, Mushi's going to take the tier 1 mid, knowing he's fully safe here. And it will be a slight consolation. Right, top lane Ryu just dies to birds. That is the power of the Visage. You're one of the few 5-position supports with great solo kill potential. Just a Grave Chill, bird right click, Soul Assumption. And Bambo is going to be a happy Visage, able to get good farm, kills, and be very dangerous around the map with this hero.
Soul Assumption is a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
That's a heavy nuke, especially with the full charges there. He's able to have that up, so coming into play, no doubt, to pick off Ryer as mentioned. Now we have a case of Batrider again, trying to work on this stack, but both Clockwork and Nyx Assassin also there to share that farm themselves. Slark, Shadowblade, it's queued up now. I was wondering, is that what we were going to see? And sure enough, Sionix answers that.
Nothing too crazy. Sometimes you'll see a Midas before this, but will be a just standard Slark build, and we'll need to probably get active once he has that completed. This is a game where Geek fam are going to be definitely wanting to play at a fast tempo, playing aggressive. This 4-staff Lina isn't really a late game build by any means. There's no Bloodstone or anything like that. He wants to fight with this early 4-staff.
Sexy Bambo keeping the familiars with him currently. He's been flying around with him right here. You have Batrider getting information, looking at the triple, I almost want to say quad stack ancients. I believe it's a triple stack though, and he's actually going to be able to take them out, or at least a bit of it, as he fireflights away. But now Medusa's here, realizing that that's what's going on, so figure she'll farm up the rest of it herself. But nice contestation. Oh, well played by Lina right there.
Even just getting some of the experience being in the range for it.
Familiar stuns.
Gets a kill.
Yeah. Clockwork goes down, so this Radiant side, they are moving, and that's really the lineup and what they're going to be able to do.
Yep. It's even overall on goal, but it just feels like Geek fam are making all the aggressive moves, taking and setting the tempo themselves. Once they start taking some towers, things will look a whole lot better for them, and that's really where things have been kept even. Mineski have taken 2 tier 1s. I believe the top one was denied, but it was Medusa taking the mid one, so things have not completely slipped away from Mineski because their lineup does do very well at defending their lanes.
And speaking of that, Medusa with that Yasha, it's going to force them out. Scared enough to fall back. 1870 gold saved up on Sand King, so again, that blink almost finished for him. Nyx Assassin has a Urn of Shadows finished, and Arcane Boots on the way, but back to Slark. That Shadow Blade just about picked up, and once he gets that Shadow Blade, and talking about this team as a whole moving quite a bit, is that expect him to move around as well and look for kills?
Yeah, Witch Doctor's a free kill for him. Clockwork's a very easy kill. Medusa's one of the few that Medusa and Jug are both a little bit tricky, but the supports is just something you want to feed off of with the Shadow Blade.
Oh, they smoke up down here. They actually scanned, and it spotted for a second or so. They guessed that they kept running bottom, though, and as we see, that's not the case. They ran more to the left instead. And so Geek fam, they're going to be fine. In fact, middle lane, Visage is continuing to push it out. He is level 9, so we'll get an idea of what he goes for level 10 once he hits that mark in the very near future. As 4-staff has been finished by Lina, though, and now she does have that Bloodstone queued up.
Yeah, we'll see her kind of go back for the more late game oriented build now with how things are going to... For Geek fam, as much as they're playing aggressive, going for these kills, they're not taking towers off of it, so I think they likely feel like, okay, we're getting kills, we're doing okay, but we need to at least get some more late game going. and see how things... They don't want to go all in on just ganking and fighting now. They've got the Shadow Blade. They will continue to fight and try and force some towers, but Mineski also avoiding those fights. They're just split pushing bottom, staying away from wherever Geek Fam go, and for Geek Fam, if you're trading towers, you also at some point need to make sure you have an ability to fight back.
Yeah, the cores over here at Mineski are doing fantastic. Obviously, the top 2 net worth in the game. Arc here on the Juggernaut, and Diffusal Blade is actually almost finished to go with the Yasha. Nyx, by the way, finds Sand King. This is a big kill if he gets it. He actually has 2,400 gold, so he can purchase it. Oh, he misses the impel, though. Again, it's not the easiest stun to land, and especially when you're really trying to go for it in cases like that. And now Ninja Boogie's going to be picked off as a result of that. Raj, not going to hit the stun because of the spin coming out from Juggernaut, and they can't stop that, so he'll TP out safely. Will it be the same here for Witch Doctor? Absolutely not. It's going to take a lasso, but they get the kill on him, make it 2-0 when it's all said and done there.
Medusa was farming an ancient stack while that was going on. I think it was like a quad stack, so see Mushi's net worth, it's getting higher and higher, and he's not being slowed down whatsoever, but definitely nice kills for Geek Fam. They defend their tower, they find a few kills, but the tier 2 actually does take a lot of damage. It's down to a couple hundred health in this bottom lane, so that is a bit concerning for Geek Fam, that they are taking a lot more tower damage than they're dealing, and at some point, Medusa Jug may just be walking down the lane with this super farm Medusa in the front lines that they can't deal with.
Yeah. In fact, there's that Diffusal Blade now purchased by Juggernaut, so yeah, exactly, getting to that point. The Manta style, again, coming along here as... Oh, no, I take that back. It is actually going to be the Lincolns. All right. For Medusa, so yeah, just has the ultimate ore for that instead.
Casual Yasha is something you see. It's such a value stat item with the movement speed and attack speed to just farm faster in jungle with.
Yeah, great stat item. So Mushi likes it here. Smoke up meanwhile from Mineski. And I don't think they were seen by anything. No, it doesn't look like it. So chance to make a play. Bottom lane Bat Rider could be a candidate, as he's so close to finishing that blink. In fact, he's going to have it here after this creep wave. Will he be able to purchase it in time? There we go. He does make the purchase at least. So worst case, if he dies here, he has it. But it doesn't even look like that's going to happen, because he just got it there. He falls back. He wants it. And so the smoke ain't going to come to a fail. Top lane, you have Geek Fam pushing out up here instead.
Feels like a game where the map is split in a different direction, where Geek Fam control the top side of the map and Mineski control this bottom side, at least as far as where most of the heroes have been situated so far. But
yeah, if you put a... Oh, actually, he's going in on Sand King with the blink. The last also catches Juggernaut, but the war goes down, and he's going to spin out. He has Omni Slash if they want to look to turn some damage. Mag, meanwhile, picks off the Bat Rider. That Blade Mail assisting with that, but the Soul Assumption nuke from Sexy Bambo finishes the job and actually gets a mega kill streak to top it all off. Sand King will also catch Nyx Assassin. The ward is nearby, still up doing a bit of heal, but it's just not going to be enough. Nyx Assassin trying to TP out now, and will not be able to do so. That was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be, but that's 2 kills for the 1 loss in Bat Rider there. A 2-for-1 fight.
Definitely better for Geek Fam, but not by a big margin, though. They had to bring all their team back down bottom lane just to take that fight and initiate with the kind of the surprise factor of the Bat Rider blink. And Mushi just TP's top. Again, it's Mineski defending their towers better than Geek Fam are, while Medusa continues to get really farmed, kind of out of control at this point. Lincoln's Yasha, Mushi's next time, it should be kind of that tipping point where he is nearly unkillable. Curious to see what he goes for. I don't think he's going to complete the Manta. I don't think he should complete it, but that is his build. I think he's better off getting the Maelstrom, or even... The Skadi doesn't sound great because it's too stat heavy against the Slack, who's going to steal those stats, so I think a damage item like a Maelstrom is probably the best way to go.
Sexy Bambo, to clarify, he did go that gold per minute talent as you're suggesting, so good old 90 gold per minute, and the Solar Crest actually is going to be finished here.
I mean, you compare the supports in terms of overall net worth and farm. Visage is 3.6k, way above the Dire supports, and even the Dire Clockwork is only just, about 1,000 net worth above him, but as an offlaner compared to a 5.
Yeah. Sure enough, though, Sand King, actually, his teammate support is doing fantastic as well. In fact, has a gem purchased to control the map right here, as we're talking about, so... Yeah, their vision lacking.
That's a nice thing for these supports, being able to get kills, and the fact that the raiding team are the ones fighting. They're not getting towers, but they're spreading the wealth.
Ninja Boogie gonna get caught top lane. Lasso, he just used the impel to farm, and even with that, of course, it was dead anyway. So good catch from Geek Fam. The Blink Dagger on Bat Rider to go with the drums now. Has some easy lasso opportunities. Lena, the Bloodstone, that much closer as well to being finished. Just about has it. Obviously, she can split up those Arcane Boots for the energy booster right there. So top tier 2 going to be pushed in. Meanwhile, middle lane, though, is going to be gone in as actually Psionics here on Slark, having to pop the Shadow Dance to run away. Death Ward as a result not doing too much. Sexy Memo on the flank. The epicenter goes off and they catch Juggernaut. A key kill indeed for Geek Fam at the beginning of this fight. And guess who's not here? It is Mushi once again, but he is running over. Now on Medusa, going to farm a little bit, but no, they see Lina. So Lina, that's a prime target. They want her dead, and Lina kind of just running through the death jungle. Ends up going down because the streak stopper and Mushi, that's really more farm because of the bounty kill. Top it all off.
Won't be able to kill those familiars. They a nice couple hundred gold, but we'll get away. And yeah, Mineski killing the Lina. That's definitely the big one for them. Mushi going to be very happy with that. Has bought the Manta recipe, so we will be seeing that infamous Mushi Medusa build that has won so many games. So definitely results are there, even if it has received some flack from time to time. But as it stands, this is a very even game with how things are kind of shaping up.
I like you have to keep encouraging that. It's like, it's worked. Well, it's worked, guys. But
yeah, it's a thing. Like, you know, everyone likes to hate on it, but the results kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah.
What the build, it's a very defensive build end of the day, and that's I think where Mushi as a player can shine is when he's just unkillable. He can just stand in the front and play this strategic role where he plays around like this very aggressive positioning. Even though he doesn't deal damage, he's such a frontline tank that you can't get past him.
Yeah, that makes sense there. And as we see Witch Doctor, of course, falling victim to the Bat Rider, and Slark actually finishing the job. He has the Echo Saber follow-up to the Shadow Blade. And a 1,300 gold saved up. Echo Saber on Slarks, I mean, I get why, especially with the Essence Shift, but it seems almost interesting to me that, first off, that he's one of the only heroes that gets Echo Shift, really, nowadays it feels like, but gets it as a later item rather than a priority, where it's, you know, could be a farming tool, but likes the Shadow Blade first instead.
Yeah. This is definitely a game where you're going to be probably gearing up for the late game, and that's where the Echo Saber isn't so much that item, but if you're finding some kills, which he's been successful at, he's 3-0 and 4 Psionics is getting value out of this item, and like you say, it does kind of speed up your farm a little bit as well along the way, so not a bad pickup by any means, and we'll see what Geek Fam can do as far as continuing to play aggressive, finding kills. They don't want to slow down this pace, they don't want to give Mushi too much space to continue farming.
This is an item also like seeing here. Visage going to be picking up that Rod of Atos, and especially with the new way to build it, the double bracer into the Staff of Wizardry. He already has the 2 bracers, so it seems like just a really good item on a support Visage to have.
The big thing for Geek Fam with this game dragging out going late game, you think, oh, Medusa's way scarier late game than like the Slark, for example. Even though Slark gets all the Essence Shift, they've got their supports farming. Like Visage late game is incredibly powerful. Nicely blocks the hook with the birds, but is still getting chased down. Yeah, the battery assault stays in range. It's going to temple. Lina's porting it right into a bad spot, though. She's going to get caught on. She did not realize they were there as the cask is bouncing around. Down goes Lina. They're also going to get Sand King on top of that. Go figure. Visage actually survives throughout all of that. In fact, Slark's going to be stunned by the Stone Gaze. And again, Medusa is so beefy. You are not winning this fight, so not the fight that Geek Fam was hoping for. And has to keep on running. Nice job stunning with a familiar right there. Bat Rider jumps in. Not enough mana for the lasso, though. Gets diffused.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. He goes down as well. The jumping in at points, I mean, from the Lina to the Bat Rider there at the last second. Geek Fam kind of throwing themselves at Mineski here.
They were just playing blind. Like the Lina TP, they think it's just a Clockwork trying to kill a support Visage. So it's like, oh, Lina can TP in. We'll get a kill, has a Bloodstone, can start getting Bloodstone charges, but it wasn't just a Clockwork. It was the entire Mineski team rotating in, so Lina dies very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Does save the Visage with the Bloodstone heal, but that is not what you want to see from your mid lane.
And all of a sudden, she has 8 charges, just like that. Yeah, definitely not the trade that you're happy with. Medusa just pushing this tier 2. Obviously has back when nearby. They're going for Juggernaut. That's the better and easier target than the Medusa, no doubt. But they can't really get him. He spins away. Now they're going for Medusa because they kind of have to. But Slark was in a bad spot, trapped up in those cogs. The Omni Slash, and Juggernaut gets the last laugh. Epicenter. So, you know, speaking of a laugh, Mineski has a little bit more of that, as that was just a little bit too late.
Well, that's so bad losing the Slark there. He was 2 seconds away from Shadow Dance, and a nice hook shot into Omni Slash bursted him down.
That Clockwork, I mean, this is a farmed Clockwork. The Blade Mail, the 4 Staff, and now he even has an Orchid queued up as, like, might as well go for this item.
Definitely going to help a lot at ganking the Slark, but unfortunately for him, Slark will probably have a BKB before he can get it. Still good against other heroes like Sand King, Bat Rider, who will not have the luxury of farming BKB this game anytime soon.
I just realized, too, Medusa's level 21.5. Yeah, we're 26 minutes in.
Massive right now, and definitely one of those things when you're playing ahead, like if he'd gone for a Bilberry Squisher, he's going to struggle because if he dies, he gives like 1k gold. When you're this far ahead in terms of levels and farm, it's such a detriment to your team to die at all. So he's going this build where he just never wants to die. He can play very aggressive, and we're definitely seeing it here as they are able just to force fights and push around the strength of this Medusa.
And at level 20, she got that 600 mana talent, which obviously on her really is more of a survivability talent than anything. So
yep,
adding to that cause. And level 25 is looking very realistic, and can even start talking about that. I mean, is there a direction that you see Lifesteal or Stone Gaze stun?
Probably the Stone Gaze stun. 2 seconds is a lot of stun, but we'll see. I think the lifesteal's not. You're tanky enough as it is. You don't deal enough right-click damage to justify the lifesteal, in my mind.
True.
Even though 25% is way more lifesteal than you look at other talents, but I think he's going to be looking to his team to be a lot of the damage output in these fights, and that's where the stun and control is really nice.
Slark trying to finish that BKB here, middle lane, by the way. Ninja Boogie has a jump, but he does not land the impale. He's struggling getting these early impales off. Again, not the easiest stun, but gotta hit them in matches like this. So missing a kill opportunity on a Batrider. As the blink now queued up, has drums himself even. To go with his own gem, was that a gem that they stole? It is, yeah.
Ooh.
That was Sand King's gem.
That's a big kill and turnaround. That's 1800 gold swing, and strategically, not having that gem against Nyx Assassin is a big problem. It also means even if you don't desperately need it now, you can buy sentries. 5 minutes from now, you can't buy one. Like if you secure an Aegis, you don't have a gem to play around. Oh,
that's
great.
An illusion.
Great illusion use, just sending those Manta illusions out, keeping Geek fam guessing, and they may actually be able to go into Roche themselves off of that.
Yeah. Lasso's on cooldown for another minute here. That's some freedom for Mineski. That's the one initiation that you're... Obviously, you still have the Epicenter Burrow Strike threat, but I don't know if you're almost not as scared of that because, you know, the pick up of the Lasso, taking him away could be a little more dangerous. So they're going to go for Roshan.
They snipe the Healing Ward. Familiar is very useful and good at doing that, as we've seen a few times this game.
Can summon some more if need be as well, but they're going to go on Visage somewhat. Not the easiest support to actually kill. Clockwork, Blade Mail's up, but he's taking a lot of damage in that he'll barely survive, but he actually has a double damage rune on him, so trying to help finish off the Roshan. Familiar's going back in. They want to steal this. Will they be able to? Down goes Mag, actually. The Familiar is helping to finish the job. Juggernaut's running out with barely any life, so Roshan gets slow but not loaded up, but now the Stone Gaze had the multi-shot from Mushi in the midst of it. No one's going to be stoned up just yet, but they get the kill to Sand King. The Omni Slash bounces over to Vince. Just can't take him out, though. Beautiful Grave Chill. Turn around and talk about that burst damage. They get the kill on a Juggernaut, but they also lose the Batrider in the process. Back to Roshan. Roshan's still alive, in fact, barely any life, but they want Lina, damn it. They don't want Roshan at this point. Batrider buys back, realizes the fight is still going on. Sark gets the pick off on a Clockwork. Mushi's like, all right, let's finish off Roshan now, or at least attempt to. Batrider force staff over the ledge. Has an buyback on a Juggernaut now used. Lina is going to avoid death, though.
A lot of buybacks being thrown out of this fight. The Clockwork actually died back, but if he buys back, if he can get Aegis for himself, this is definitely fine for him, and it looks like the fight is over for Geek.
Oh, Velo. He tried to go for a steal, and... Okay, Force Staff will keep him alive.
Yeah,
what a fight.
Bambo played that fight so well. His Visage was such a nuisance. He basically solo kills the Clockwork at the start of the fight. With the birds, Clockwork forces back into the Roche Pit, thinks he's safe there in fog, but the birds fly on over, finish him off. He's definitely deserving of a lot of credit for that fight going as well as it did for Geek Fan, but the end result is still slightly better for Mineski with the Aegis secured and in Jug's hands, although Jug did have to kind of take a big dent to his economy, having to buy back. Same for the Clockwork. Batrider on the I think it was just Batrider on the Radiant side. Yeah, so 1 buyback from the Radiant and 2 from Dire for that Roche fight.
Yeah. I mean, that fight was really interesting too. Oh no, Lina, she avoids the hook shot actually, more so swing and a miss from Mag right there, but the Cogs ain't gonna trap him either. The good old Force Staff from Teehee, but now Nyx, here's his chance for the little impale, and this one will land, and she is gonna deny herself, realizing that it's a lost cause right there. So, good pick on Alina, gonna be dead for about 30 seconds now, before she's back up. But yeah, where we saw that fight turn, and really no surprise, is that Stone Gaze use of Medusa. They were really clumped up, and they started to spread out because of it, but it's just what it forces you to do, if anything. Allows for a turnaround from Mineski.
Yep.
The ultimate run there.
So from here, Mineski may start looking to siege. The Medusa, no 25, but has a butterfly, and definitely is at a point where you can take all these outer towers. Maybe a bit tougher to go for the high ground, but Jug does have an Aegis to kind of safely siege even high ground with if he just wants to Blade Fury and hit buildings. Problem is the Batrider Lasso is still a big threat and something to be scared of with the lack of Lincolns on Jug. There is the Medusa one which you can apply onto the Jug if he's hitting the high ground, so that may be the case.
Well, they got the tier 2 mid also. Okay, will they keep going with this? Juggernaut, Aegis ready. Keeping on that Lincoln's, not using just yet, but there's a Lacuna Blade, so going to force Arc to play very defensive. Spins away with the totem up and or the healing ward even.
Yeah, Lena could have sniped it, but didn't change her attack target.
Stone Gaze, no, not going to be used just yet. They actually stun lock Medusa for the time being. She hasn't used it just yet. Finally goes off right there. And now Batrider's in a bad spot. Going to be stoned up. He will go down. He slash bouncing around. Goes on the creep wave, it looks like, for a lot of that damage. Good job with the Shadow Dance pop by Slark. Keeps himself alive, that is, and they pick off Clockwork in the process. Sexy Bambo, he's looking for a target to Soul Assumption. Won't find it, though. And Mineski not going to overstay their welcome right here. Again, they still have the Aegis on Juggernaut, but want to reset and get a better opportunity.
Yeah, that was their big ultis all used. The Witch Doctor, Medusa, and the Juggernaut. There's some really nice synergy between them too. The Stone Gaze able to just lock them in place for the setting up for that Witch Doctor and Jug to just dish out all that damage and bring him down.
Jug goes right into level 2 Diffusal.
He had 0 charges left, so
that makes sense.
He's been using them like when Bat blinks in and then he gets instantly diffused. It just makes it really hard for him to like pull people away. He definitely wouldn't do this if not for the lack of charges. Even though the extra stats are kind of nice, but yeah, Medusa just amping up the physical damage of Jug as well as Witch Doctor in these team fights. There's definitely been some clear synergy going on there, and that's something that's definitely going to continue. I really can only see Mushi getting the Stone Gaze done with how these fights are going down and how things have kind of developed. As for Geek Fam, with the Aegis in Jug's hands, it's still very hard for them to take team fights.
Yeah, plus 2 seconds, that puts it up, what, 5-second stun that we're talking about. If that goes off right there. So yeah, she's almost level 25. Again, such a key mark to be hitting. Psionics hits that level 20 and now level 21, so that's a 10% cooldown reduction as a result of that. And of course that BKB down to 9 seconds, but having that, I have Scotty attempting to be worked on. Still a ways away though, and they're smoked up, everyone but Medusa here. On the dire side, wrapping around. Very defensive play though from Geek Fam currently.
Yep. Feels like they need to build some items to help deal with Medusa. Stuff like Heaven's Halberd or something. Anything that can help just take her out of these fights.
Tier 3 tower, maybe get it and go for shrines. We'll see what they do, but they're not going to have the chance to react just yet. It's a double force staff with the power to last one initiation. Remember, that's an Aegis though. Now, can they protect them? Stone Gaze is ready for Medusa still. Juggernaut pops the Omni Slash Animator right away, spreading throughout. Lina's in trouble from it. Diffusive Blade could be used. There's the Slark pounce, but Lina's going all the way back to the fountain. He TP's out, and Arc will survive. Meanwhile, the melee racks and the tier 3 goes down. Beautiful coordination from Mineski with the distraction there, if anything, but now Nyx Assassin. All right, well, they're going to get 1 kill out of this at least. Will they get more? Clockwork, the Cogs. Ryur, nice attempt, but Witch Doctor will get caught too, so what minimal casualties considering what happened right there.
It was such a good call from Jug. He just chases down the lane, doesn't get the kill, but then Blade Fury TP's out knowing there's no lasso to cancel it. Such a good call from him, and good from Mineski not to panic and dive the base. If they dived under the tier 4 towers to try and save the Jug, it could have ended so badly for them. They just let the Jug be lassoed, knew he had the extra life to play around, and knew that Mushi was just going to be able to break down that Rax by himself.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah, a lot of teams may have felt so panicked right there to be like, oh crap, we got to save the Juggernaut, but nope, not the case. They just hit the objectives. They said, you know what, we like you, buddy, but you're on your own. And ultimately, the best thing for Mineski was simply to do that. So, a 4,000 net worth lead, but it feels a lot bigger than that for Mineski here.
Just feels like Geek Fam's late game is not looking all too scary with Lena's build going for a peculiar Aether Lens pickup. It's not the normal Lena build by any means. The extra, now he gets the spellcast range. You could have got that from a talent. I was
just thinking that.
A bit better. It comes at not too big of a price point. But it really is a Lena that's going to be all about the magic damage and not the right-click damage at this point. Despite having those 2 damage and range talents, she has no damage items. She has a Force Staff and an Aether Lens, items you typically expect to see on like a spellcaster or a support Lena.
It feels off. It does. And yeah, with that level 20, I'm with you there. You almost feel like she just would have been better off getting a spell lamp instead with how she's building specifically. But it's that attack range. So maybe eventually in the very late game that could come into play. But for now,
top is being caught by Nyx.
Finds him. Sandstorm. Initially going to be used. There's a dust up though, but he's doing a good job of evading still. And meanwhile, elsewhere, Velo gets picked off on Bauer. That was the bottom lane. Looks like no Omni Slash even needed, just simply Juggernaut. Right-clicking him down and Diffusal Charge perhaps used.
Still trying to chase this Sand King.
Runs into Mushi.
Okay.
Yeah, cuts him off.
Sandstorm soon. Okay.
No way.
There's a blink.
Jeez.
You're right. And that's 3 dead, none with buyback. Lena?
Yeah, Lena just denied her. What happened?
Jug Omni Slash. I believe she was going to die to a Jug Omni Slash and just denied herself. I honestly have no idea.
That has to be it, because yeah, that's on cooldown.
Yeah, because Bat died bottom, Lena died mid.
Yeah. And they were both a Juggernaut apparently.
Oh yeah, so Jug kills Bat mid bottom and then must have gone mid with an
rotated,
Omni Slash.
Yeah.
No idea though.
We're watching the chase the whole time on a Sand King and 2 other people are dead.
I mean, may have just been a complete suicide if he used Omni Slash to kill Bat, but yeah, that's very weird.
Freaking mayhem there from Mineski, and now they're going for tier 3 top and level 25. She does get the 2-second Stone Gaze stun right there.
Oh, Familiar's just instantly feet gold too.
Saw that. Now he does have another set of them, so double 4 staff onto Bat Rider. I don't know if he attempted to lasso there. I was thinking about it, but actually Juggernaut is getting fitted. Oh, the Stone Gaze comes out. They do burst down Juggernaut, but will it matter in the long run? They lose the racks already. Down goes Visage. Slark is also trying to live in the midst of this. At the BKB up and the Shrine pop. They lose Lena though. She's dead for 50, and she's staying dead. Double buyback Visage as well as the Bat Rider, and Mineski's going to be happy with what they got once again. Sure, they lose Juggernaut, similar to last time, but they actually get out as well.
Yep. Mushi with double damage. I think that's actually one of the perhaps bigger buffs Medusa's not directly received but indirectly receives in recent patches is this like late game 40-minute double runes. I think it would be a mistake not to have a bottle as a Medusa in late game because you're a hero that sometimes lacks damage output. You go these very stat heavy builds, but double damage is actually doubling out your damage output. Most heroes have lots of plus damage items. Medusa has 200 damage plus 25, so that double damage gives her an extra 200 damage for split shot, which is a big deal. So definitely we'll be seeing Mushi hold on to the bottle and look for these DD runes whenever possible.
Yeah, this Medusa pick has definitely proven to be the very viable pick. 5-1-7 this game. That death came earlier on in it. Since then, it's just been all really Mineski here. Net worth chart again. It's now looking like, okay, yeah, it's a little more respectable for Mineski at 14,000 net worth lead, but again, frankly, even now it still feels a little bit bigger. It's going to need Geek fam to capitalize on some mistakes, getting pickoffs in places, but they're not giving them opportunity or much of it. Roshan, it's going to be done, and this time it's not even going to be a fight. Cheese will drop as well. And going to spread the love and try to finish the game, I'm sure, at the bottom lane. With that being the only tower instead of racks up here. So I'm trying to look across the board. I mean, is there anything that maybe could be coming as Slark? He's almost finished. Yeah, this Slark has felt, I mean, both Slark and Lena, like, to be fair, both felt like underwhelming as mid to late game carries. Lena, a big part of it is the item build. I think Slark is just struggling because Slark as a hero is just a hero that's very hard to play against all this heavy control lineups. Medusa, as much as she's tanky and gives you stats, also doesn't necessarily work too well. Whoa, that was an Omni Slash used from Juggernaut right there. He was found first, it looked like. He's going to pop out pretty low on life. Epicenter going to be used on him, so they kill him pretty quickly. But he had the Aegis, and they used quite a bit. Stone Gaze is going to be activated as well. Mag dealing with the Slark over here. Sandstorm is on cooldown, and he pops the BKB. But Mag's able to tank up this damage, and down goes Slark. He's staying dead. That really should all but do it in favor of Mineski right here, as they're just going to push into the bottom lane and finish this one way or another against Geek fam. That is great. Another great team fight coming up from Mineski. They're just too hard to fight into when this Medusa is Stone Gaze. She's sitting on 2.6k HP with 2.2k mana, so it's something like 5,000 effective health. That's with insane. The mana shield at that point. Epicenter, not even off cooldown, won't be for another 55 seconds, so Sand King just almost as if he's setting up for that, but obviously not the case, and found anyways. Geek fan perhaps just talking it over where things went wrong. But again, it's going to be a victory for Mineski, and I believe that's going to put them at 4-2, if I'm not mistaken there. And so this is another team. First place is out of the question, really, for the most part. But You know, moving on to phase 2, that they're setting up to be in a pretty good spot for that.
Yep. You've taken one of the more dangerous teams, another team that's like fighting for that 4th and 5th slot, middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Last fight here is they bring Mag into the fountain, but Mushi and Ark are just... I mean, Ark's like, oh, okay, we want to play fountain camp, I'll join in, but Mushi's all about the objectives.
Bonus points, man. Yeah, so they have a little bit of fun with it at the end, but even buyback, man, they really are fighting to the end right here. Now, Mushi has another Stone Gaze, I guess. We'll probably be popping that soon. There we go. And he's like, let's just finish the Ancient here.
Most objective gamer in this game. He knows how to win Dota games.
Epicenter's almost killing himself with the blade nose up.
It's definitely the least flashy way imaginable to play Medusa.
Oh, yeah.
But it works. Even now, he's still hitting the throne.
He just doesn't care that Slark. He's still going to get the kill on him, but fun stuff. Anyways, GG's are called, and Mineski obviously is victorious with the Ancient actually being killed. So, like we just said, moves to 4.